All right, week number 2 of qualifiers decks. We're going to kick it off with Karakondzhul's super fast mid or aggro Dagoth. I'm not really sure which to call it. It has more aggro elements than mid-range elements, but it still has some mid-range stuff. It's got a whole buttload of 2-drops, almost a third of the deck is 2-drops, and then has a nice burn down curve from there. The thing that's interesting is it has all of the typical aggro low end, which is really cool, but all of its mid in the 3s and 4s are almost entirely enablement cards. They're either buffs, finishers like Swift Strike, or enablers like Earthbone Spinner and Withered Hand Cultist to make way to keep your opponents from being able to respond intelligently. So I really like the construction for this deck. It's aggro with the disruption and enablement tools of mid-range, and then some nice mid-range closers as well. So I think it's actually a pretty cool build. I've loved Karakondzhul's builds in the past. I will continue to do so because his builds are always super, super fun. So we're going to try this out on ladder a couple times. I have altered 0 cards. This is exactly as he has played it. There are probably things I would change for ladder and not tournament, but for now we're going to do it just like this because I think that's more fun. Okay, game number 1 against Empire. I'm going to guess it's Abomination Empire because that's all the rage these days, so we gotta go super crazy fast. They can combo off on turn, 4, 5, 6 very, very easily, so if we don't get going, then that's a problem. Having the ring would make this substantially easier, but not having it is not the end of the world. I am going to just start with the Nord, try and get in there as fast as we can. Okay. A 4/4 on turn 2 is super powerful, so we're going to do that in the hopes that he can't do anything about it. If he can, then we're in, a sad position. There's like a Fighter's Guild recruit. Bruma's not great either. It's not terrible, but it's not great. Orc Clan is the play. We're going for just blistering speed. We may actually trade off into the Bruma because it represents a ton of healing. But also we may just go all face because if he does anything to stop our assault, we may just lose. And that would be a shame. We have options here. I like the more cool Gatekeeper because it eats 2 of these. The problem is that's not very Magicka efficient, which we do want to maintain Magicka efficiency at least a good bit, because we can go double 2 and then 2 and 3 next turn, which would be a big deal. So I'm actually going to go for the Pawnbroker and hope we hit a curse. Ooh, we did hit a curse. So that actually opens up a good amount. I'm going to not use it so that next turn he's going to trade into this, and then we can just curse down the Mournhold Guardian that comes out of it. And then go 3 and 2 to develop out of that. It's a bummer, but not a problem. Also, looking less like Abomination. Abomination would never run Grizzly Gourmet, and probably wouldn't run Barrowstalker either, so I'm less concerned about having to go at Ultra Mach speed. Granted, still want to go fast because, that's how we do as aggro Dagoth. This is now going to proc itself, so it'll continuously grow every turn, which is really nice. And that was definitely made by being Magicka efficient. Going 2/2 and then 2/3 and hitting that curse was huge. If we didn't hit the curse, then there's a bunch of other stuff we could have done to still get everything to work out the way we want. There's a bunch of other 0-drops that would have worked just as well. But curse was really, really handy. That was a nice high roll for us. So this looks like it's just conventional Control Empire instead of Abomination. It still could be, but it's looking like it's not. They kept that, which is unfortunate. Bummer. Shuffle effects OP. Yeah, we're just gonna go in. I think I actually want to bolt this down, because now he can only do one trade, and then we have 6 and 4 for lethal next turn, as well as whatever we draw. Now 7 and 4. Because otherwise he had 2 trades, which I don't think we get that tempo loss back. Interesting that he didn't trade into the Guardian. I'm guessing just worried about health total. We still have lethal on the board, and he also has to go through all of our runes to kill us. And we do have a good amount of reach in the deck. Not a ton of draw, unfortunately, but there's some. That sucks. Unless we just end up with lethal, because that'd be great. Crap. Well, at least that means it's only 1 turn of healing. He can't use that for recurrent healing. Could I just draw a moose? Queen's good. It is a little unfortunate that we're going to be gaining health with that, but if it means we can close the game out, then who cares, right? Like, winning the game is way better than worrying about not being able to get our runes destroyed. What are you shadow fanning? How does that help you? Okay, we have lethal. Just gotta dodge any prophecies. There we go, closing it out. That rolling that curse was absolutely huge, pushing damage, and I really think bolting that Brotherhood Assassin was a big deal as well. So that went pretty well. Oh, hey, quest credit too. Nice. So we'll probably do one more. I was doing some shenanigans. Okay, game number 2 against a Dominion deck. This hand isn't bad. I don't know how I feel about keeping Pawnbroker, but it is a 2-drop that's overstated, so I guess I'll keep it. Also, because almost all of our curve is 3 or less, then there's a good chance of proccing this on turn 4, by turn 4, between a 0, 1, or 2-drop. Not getting ring is a bummer, but not a problem. We have some nice reach in our hand, if that ends up being relevant. Also, this person's name is Colossus Marvel Comics, which is just awesome. Yeah, so if we draw another a 3-drop would be great, so we can go double 2 the turn after. If not, we can just plop down the Dreamer and then Battle Mace over it. Harpy is fine. Okay, no 3. We Dreamer now so that we can Battle Mace onto one of them next turn and get the Dreamer growing. You probably Battle Mace onto the Dreamer. Okay. I do still think we Battle Mace onto the Dreamer. Unless we draw something for Pawnbroker. Nope. So we get a value trade. He has to have exactly Lightning Bolt or Creature plus Fire Bloom in order to clear that. Now we have... Oh, Cast into Time. Okay, that's surprising. Okay, that works. So that works just fine. Now we can Halalu Sharpshooter kind of twice with Close Call if we need to. Seems unlikely, but it's possible. That is a fantastic target for a Battle Mace trade. Oh man, that really sucks. Ooh, I want to play that, but it's not the right play. Trading into Iron is a big deal. We can't let them have a whole bunch of super cheap spells. Their deck is confusing me. I don't understand why they're running Cast into Time, but I guess if they're like a control deck, then maybe, but control Dominion is not very good, so it does surprise me.
Perhaps we can help one another.
Okay. Ward that, and then silence off. We can get this nice value trade. We have a board presence. He doesn't. We're approximately even on cards. Granted, he's going to start getting a bunch more cards once we start destroying runes, but you know, that happens. I really want to get Syl running. Start getting some damage down. Okay, so he is a control deck. So maybe Conscription Dominion? Because you never run Camel outside of control decks. Could also just be a bad deck, which is possible, but I don't want to... It's never a good idea to assume that your opponent's deck is bad. It's always better to give your opponent the credit of the doubt and play as if they are playing good cards. Alright, they took a little time to think about that. They're running Soul Shred. Okay. I see you, Colossus. I see you. So we have a couple options here. Okay, that makes it a lot better. Because now we can do that and then dagger one of these. Come on. There we go. To trade here. Break this ward, and we can get Syl running, which is huge. We can start getting some chip damage over time, and I think for the foreseeable future at least, we'll probably have control of that lane, so that's great. They give us a card which, at this point, literally anything is fine. I can't think of any card that isn't going to be good for us just because it is something to do. They're taking a while. Okay, Bruma's fine. That's cards to play. I'm actually very seriously considering close calling Syl and getting 2 Dementia lanes going. Because that sounds awesome. Ooh, he has Empower shenanigans. I don't think I want that. Yeah, that sounds bad for us. Okay, if he does not answer Syl next turn, I am going to close call it into the shadow lane so we can have 2 lanes of damage rocking, hopefully. Assuming we don't just have lethal, which we very well may. Sai Sahan. That's a cool inclusion. I think that card is criminally underplayed. Let's see. How much does this cost? 6, so we can do a bunch of stuff here, actually.
None of them can be trusted. Do you hear me?
There's a very, very solid argument that Withered Hand Cultist was the better play there, but I don't know. I like having options for lethal. Also, getting him into the Dementia lane is actually good for us because he will end up having to break runes necessarily by him having control of that lane. So we get resources, which is really, really good. Firestorm. Is he going to follow up with Ice Storm? Man, maybe Withered Hand Cultist was the play. Dang! Okay. I mean, we still have lethal. Not quite. It does 2? Oh no, we have lethal. Sweet. All right, I don't know what their deck was, but it looked like it had some spicy inclusions, so that's kind of cool. Anyway, yeah, that's Karakondzhul's fast mid Dagoth. I think it's super fun. I think Dagoth was my favorite class before the Daggerfall Covenant came out, and now I'm all about that Covenant. But Dagoth still has a place in my heart, so it was a lot of fun to play this deck. Really fun to see Karakondzhul break out Dagoth. I think it's getting way less attention than it deserves. I think it's a great aggro inclusion, and its mid inclusions are solid. I think it's not great against yellow-purple control, so it has some problems, but it's definitely playable. So I definitely think you should check this out, especially on ladder. And the deck code will be in the description, as always. If you like this, liking, subscribing, and commenting is hugely helpful. And otherwise, I will see you in the next video.